Okay, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Rick's backstory. I have a feeling that you're already familiar with it, but just in case you aren't, I mean, we know this episode where we get to see Rick like go through his past. You have all these past experiences where Morty finally discovers like, okay, past Rick ended up killing his wife and daughter, and then Rick ended up going on this whole revenge spree because he wanted to find the killer of his wife. And eventually he found out that it's like, hey, I'm never actually going to be able to find her in any way, shape, or form, even though like I'm going to give it my all. But he was killing too many Ricks, which in turn helps him create the Citadel and gives Ricks basically a safe haven for all their life and all eternity. And that's when he's like, hey, honey, I'm sorry, to his daughter. Like, I don't want to be doing this anymore. And that's when he finally finds like Morty and he's able to have a happy, meaningful life. So that's a little bit of a backstory for you there. The main thing that I'm wanting to cover right here is this part exactly. So like right after Rick finds out that like his wife died and everything like that, like he sits and he feels sad for himself. I mean, this very well could have been a very long period of time. Like when we go to this scene right here and we see Rick just sitting here, just like in his lonesome and his sorrow and his misery, he doesn't feel like he has any control in our life. And maybe this is you. I know it's been me personally in the past where it's like I haven't felt like I've had much control over my life, but it's like we have a lot more control than we care to consider, and Rick is a prime example of this. So like we can look at Rick and see how like he doesn't feel so great about himself like after he gets checked out, but what he does is he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do something about it. I'm gonna make my portal gun again, and I'm gonna go find the one who killed my wife. Sure, it might not be the most exciting adventure, but at least it's something where I can go do something compared to just sitting on my ass and feeling sorry for myself. And I myself have been doing this for probably the past couple of months or so, where it's just like I feel sorry for myself, but it's from this book called Grit, which I highly recommend you look at it. There's an old Chinese proverb that says like you fall 6 but you stand up 7 times, and it's also like you have to be willing to give up like and fall and fail multiple times, because like Rick, he fails multiple times before he finally gets to like the happy moment with Morty. It just takes some time and some reflection to be able to get to that point, because in our entire lives we can think that like everything's working out in our favor, which in hindsight like it's all working for us, but like we have to go out there and physically go do the things ourselves instead of staying on the sidelines and wishing for things to be better. Sure, there's going to be moments like this one, which if I can't remember the exact episode, but it's when you find out that like Bird Person kind of betrayed Rick in this episode during the Hacksaw Ridge like Valor V-Day thing, like when Rick's trying to save Bird Person. I can't remember the exact episode of that. But it's like Rick, he goes out and he goes to try to do things that he himself never thought he could do. Sure, he may fail, and he failed countless times. Like he killed so many versions of himself before he was finally able to be like, you know what, I can't find him right now. But like the goal never escaped his mind. Like he never stopped trying. He never ended up like giving up on finding the first Rick, basically. He ended up just keep going day after day after day after day after day. And this is the thing that I've come to realize myself too, is like it's better to go try something. And you can go check this out with the video that I talked about, like with Jerry's ideas, because you have to have the courage to go do something, like regardless of the failed attempts. Like Rick very well could have just given up after this very first one, and like he could have just stayed at home crying, being a sad little baby. Like, I mean, I've done that from time to time, but like I go through those situations where it's regardless of like how bad it may seem, at least I'm gonna go try and move my body or go on a hike or on a drive or keep posting a video, even if it's not making the progress that it seems like it is, but I know that it is at least doing something, because at least I'm giving the effort and trying to change, kind of like how Rick did. Like this, he could have been a failure and he could have been like, all right, screw it, I'm done. Like I'm not doing this anymore, but he ends up going back and killing more Ricks and more Ricks and more Ricks until, like I said at the beginning, he gets to the point to where it's just like the Citadel decides to take itself out, or build a Citadel so that he knows that like, okay, I'm not going to keep killing Ricks, because otherwise like all the Ricks could have like gone out into extinction, but there's infinite timelines. So there's an infinite version of Ricks, so there is no way for any of them to be fully extinct in any way, shape, or form, which I can make another video on that coming up soon as well if you'd like. But there's this whole concept, and what you can do with this as well too is, it's what I'm doing right now is like, if you're wanting to do something and you feel sad for yourself or you feel sorry for yourself or things don't seem to be working out in your way and you're blaming all of these outside situations about how maybe you're drinking too much, how you can't find purpose, how there's no meaning to life, whatever it may be, you have to be the one that has to go take control of that thing. Like you got to pick up the phone call, you got to write, you got to post the video, like you got to go to the gym. You can't keep feeling sorry for yourself hoping for things to be different and for them to change. I know this personally because it's things that I myself have worked on, and it's why it's like I'm working on building and trying different things, because like you never know what's going to happen until you physically go out and go try that thing. Like our minds, as Epictetus said, it might have actually been Marcus Aurelius, but it's like we suffer more in imagination than we do in reality. So it's like having the courage to step out and try something new that you wouldn't have originally tried, to go find, say, the person that killed your wife, or to make revenge. And revenge probably isn't the best word, but like to go get massive amounts of success. Because there's another guy that I listened to where it's just like, you just want to, if you ever have anybody that's ever hurt you in any way, shape, or form, like this Rick, very well, like sure, he killed his, like Rick Prime's, the Rick's Rick, it's so hard, but he basically killed his wife pretty much. But like Rick, he didn't give up on it, and it's why it's like, you have to keep trying no matter how many times you fail, no matter how many times like it may seem like it struggles or it's hard or it's difficult or challenging for you. Because at the end of the day, like at least you tried. Even if you don't reach that goal or reach the thing that you want to, and I mean, we do find out in later seasons that Rick does end up having the outcome that he wants to have. He just remained persistent. He remained resilient. He remained consistent with the things that he was doing. And eventually he did reach his goal. But sometimes you have to kind of like give yourself a break and step back and like go like have some fun or do some other things, like go on little side quests or anything like that. But like Rick, he never lost focus of his main quest. He never lost focus of his main goal. And I have other videos on the channel around like even when you do achieve your main goal, it's kind of like a meaningless feeling, because it's just like, well, yeah, the feeling remains the same, which is kind of crazy to think, but that's kind of exactly what it is. And it sucks because Rick just finds out, he's like, well, nothing's ever going to change. Like, it sucks. I've tried for so many years, countless years. I'm never going to find him. But at the end of the day, like, as long as you don't give up and you remain persistent and you keep trying day in and day out, and you show up every single day and you put in your reps, it's what I do at the gym. It's what I do when I run. It's what I do when I post these videos. Like, I put in the reps, and occasionally I do get a lot better because, as you can see, and maybe you have noticed, like the channel is getting a lot more views and tractions and comments than it ever has been beforehand, because I've been persistent. I've been trying. I've been shifting the contents and strategies in ways that like I wasn't doing originally beforehand. I was always making them more for me, and now I'm making them to serve you, to hopefully give you inspiration or insights or hope to go live your life in a different way than you're living right now. And if that's things that you're wanting to do, obviously start applying these lessons that I'm giving you in these like videos to go out and try to do something. So instead of you sitting on the couch, go outside and exercise, go on a walk. And if you can't go on a walk, like go on a treadmill or something like that. Do something that's going to be moving your body, that's helping you get out and change your mindset, or just go for a drive and see like things from a different perspective than you originally would have seen. Because with that, it will start to add up and it will start to compound. And instead of you being in this position where it's just like a small, like steady flat line, eventually it will be a flat line, but then it will just skyrocket up, and you will be able to achieve that goal that you've set up of killing Rick Prime or whatever goal that you have. But you have to stay persistent. You have to stay consistent. It could take years, it could take months, it could take weeks, it could take days. It could take as long as it needs to take, but as long as you stay at it and you don't give up, it's bound to happen one way or another. It's just better than you sitting at home feeling sorry for yourself and crying and being like, oh, I wish that things would be different. You have to be the one that goes and takes control of your life and does the things that are required of you in order to succeed in the ways that you're wanting. Awesome. I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click that subscribe button, and I'll check you guys in the next one. Chat soon.